I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break.
Okay, so today I'm bringing you guys a nice, quick little back workout over here at the Gym in the North. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing 2 different row motions, 2 different pull-down motions. Whenever you're putting together a back workout for yourself, that's all you ever need. You never need to go anything excessive from that. You want a row and a pull-down motion to hit your lats. You want a row and a pull-down motion to hit your upper back. One thing I want to touch on though, before we really get into all the exercises, I want to try to help everybody figure out the function of your back a little bit better so that you can actually work the muscles in your back. One of the problems most people run into when they try to do back exercises is they do a whole lot of pulling, but they're not actually pulling with their back, and they're usually just pulling with their bicep. In order to avoid that, what you're trying to really do is you're trying to allow your shoulders to roll forward and roll back. The function of the majority of the muscles in your back is simply just to move your shoulder joint around your ribcage. And so with that, I recommend everybody do a little bit of like a warm-up before you start doing any of these back motions, especially for beginners. If you haven't done this kind of stuff before, go up next to a mirror. I want you to stand side to the mirror like this, and I want you to just kind of like have your arms out to your sides, and I want you to roll your shoulders forward and roll your shoulders all the way back. And what this does is it kind of gives you a little bit more of that connection, like mind to muscle aspect, to be able to have the muscles in your back actually contract. Once you have that all down, move into the exercises. First exercise we got for you today is T-bar row. One of the things that you guys probably have seen with people doing this exercise is they use this tiny ass little small V handle. The problem with this little handle is that it doesn't allow your shoulder blades to actually retract. Unless, of course, you're like the size of like a 6-month-old child and then you have tiny ass shoulders and you'll be fine. Otherwise, you want to make sure that you're using a much wider grip. I recommend something that's roughly about shoulder width, and then this way you can align all of your joints appropriately. The version that we're going to be doing today for the T-bar row is overhand pronated grip for your upper back focus. So always lift off the ground with your legs first, keep your chest up, all that stuff. We really don't want to get anybody injured. Hinge the hips once you're all braced up, and then lean forward and make sure that your elbows are rotated outwards. This is a shoulder joint rotation to make it so that your elbows point outwards. As you're pulling in, you're going to be flaring your elbows out and retracting all the muscles in your back. One thing you want to do for sure while doing this is you want to avoid as much momentum as possible. It's a really easy exercise to fuck around with and like drop it down and really use the rest of your muscles in your body to try to like get more reps in. It's not very efficient that way. You're not going to really be able to build a nice back that way. Yes, there have been people that have been able to do that, but that does not mean that it's optimal, and I like to try to keep things optimal whenever we can. If you don't like using the free bar setup here with a little landmine, we also have a chest-supported T-bar row as well. What I like about the chest-supported T-bar row is it's a very, very smooth motion. But with this one, just like with the original handle, you want to make sure that the handles are roughly about shoulder width apart. So here, I'm adjusting the handles to make sure that they fit me well. Just like with the standalone T-bar row, we're doing the pronated grip, elbows wide, and you're trying to pull everything back. The upside to utilizing the chest support here is that it's going to keep your body very stable. And what this allows you to do is put the entire emphasis just on the muscles in your back. When you're doing the T-bar row with the landmine, your entire body has to support everything that's there as well. And so, although the T-bar row with the landmine is really good for beginners, if you're a little bit beyond just like the aspect of needing to grow a ton of overall muscle, I recommend doing the chest supported T-bar row and then be able to really focus on the muscles in your back instead. For the first rowing motion that we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing a single arm dumbbell row. With this, we're going to be doing a neutral grip because the goal is to hit your lats. And so we're not going to be doing a pronated grip with a wide elbow. Instead, we're going to be tucking our elbows in. And as we go through the reps, we're going to be trying to drive the dumbbell up. As we go to perform the reps, we're going to be driving our elbows back towards our hips. What this does is really activates more of your overall lats and pulls it all through. One thing to remember with your lats is that it reaches around to the front, but then all the way back into your spine. And so as you're going to be doing any types of rows or any exercises that involve your lats, you really want to think about pulling back and then also around. A few of the issues that a lot of people do when they do this exercise is they'll have their back incredibly rounded, which doesn't allow you to really connect to the muscle, or you have some people that have their back way too arched as well. They're thinking like the whole chest up aspect. One of the things when it comes to your lats is you don't want to have your lats completely compressed in your back with an arched back. Whenever you're hitting anything with your lats, you want to have like a slight crunch in your abs in the front to make it so that your back is relatively neutral and your spine's neutral. This allows you to have a proper leverage and good pull throughout the entire leg. For our first pull down exercise, what we have now is we're going to be doing the standard, what most people call a quote unquote lat pull down. We're not really hitting lats of this. You'll notice I lean quite far back with this exercise. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to line up that pulley with the cable all the way down my wrists, my elbows, and into my shoulders. And what that does is it's going to give you a really nice line of pull to ensure that all of the tension is on the desired muscles that we're aiming to hit. For setup, I like to have my knees in really tight to make sure that my whole body is nice and stable. I lean back into a nice good angle, and I make sure that my shoulders are rotated out so my elbows point up and they go properly. I'm also not drastically arching my back either. You don't need to do any of that. A nice neutral spine isn't going to hurt anybody with this exercise. Just like with the last couple exercises, I recommend grabbing roughly around your shoulder width. This is going to be the best way to line up for you and your body. Okay, for our second pull down variation, we're going to be using the mag grip. The mag grip allows you to have a neutral grip, which is what helps you hit your lats when you pull down. One thing you'll notice here is that I actually scoot my butt to the back of the seat. I have my knees under nice and tight to make sure I'm good and stable. And then I actually have my back slightly rounded. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow for a little bit better of a leverage point for your lats to be able to work. As I'm performing the rep, I'm not going to be reaching too high to make sure that the tension consistently stays on the lats. And then as I'm going through the contraction, I'm driving my elbows down towards my hips. You'll also notice that as I'm getting close to the bottom of the range of motion, I'm not allowing my elbows to travel behind me. Once your elbows get to the bottom part before they start going backwards, that's the end of the range of motion. With exercises like these, I really like to take them nice and slow, full control all the time, and really allow for an extended amount of time under tension. Time under tension is one of the best ways to be able to ensure you're getting a lot of proper growth. For the last back exercise, we're going to be doing the rear delt fly on the pec deck machine. I'm going to show you two different variations to do this. The first I'm going to show you is for people who would be relatively close to beginners. And with this kind of way, what we're going to be doing is you're going to be allowing your shoulder blades to contract as well throughout this motion. So you're going to push your chest up against the front pad, and you're going to be throwing your arms back and out. The reason that this is a good exercise for beginners is typically if you're a beginner, you don't really need to hit and solely aimed just hit your rear delt. They're a small muscle, and if you're just new to the gym, there's no need to spend a lot of time just trying to hit just the small one. You should try to make it more of a compound motion if possible. For any of those guys out there that are trying to actually just really work on sharpening those rear delts, what I like to do here is I like to scoot my butt to the back, and I like to lean my chest into the top of the chest support. I grab as close to the inside as possible, and then I start throwing my arms out. Now, to make sure that I'm isolating my rear delts and I'm not contracting my shoulder blades, I'm thinking about pushing my hands out to the walls to my sides, instead of just trying to throw the weight back. Naturally, your body's gonna try to make the exercises easier. And so in order to prevent that from happening, you want to try to isolate certain exercises. So you really need to find a new way for the mind to muscle connection. And for me, it's honestly just throwing my hands up to the sides and just trying to stretch out as far as possible. And for me, that takes my shoulder blades completely out of the picture. At the end of any good back day, I really like to hit biceps. So what we're gonna be doing first, bicep exercise, we're gonna be hitting the biceps in the shortened position with a single arm preacher curl. The reason that I don't like to go and do bilateral at the same time, like a DZ bar or anything of the sort, is I'm kind of a wider guy now, and I like to make sure that all of my joints are aligned properly. This is the best way to avoid any kind of like elbow issues and shit like that. If you have a lot of awkward angle to your arms as you're trying to do this, you're just getting torque in the elbow in places that just don't need to have it, and it'll take tension off of the muscle as well, and so it'll reduce your growth. I want you to note that while doing a single arm preacher curl, I want you to drive your armpit into the top of the pad so that you're fully stable. With the eccentric motion, I want you to go to about 85% of extension, not all the way down. As you contract, I like to make sure that my wrist is aligned with my elbow and my shoulders to make sure that everything just feels real good. Last bicep exercise is incline dumbbell curl. You can get yourself a bench that goes to a bit of an incline. I don't like to have it all the way up, I like to have it back 1 or 2 notches. With these, you're gonna wanna drive your back into the pad, and you're gonna wanna roll your shoulders all the way to the outside. Why I like to do this is it just helps me, again, as with the last one, it helps me align all my joints appropriately so that everything just feels nice. And this will be training your biceps in the lengthened position as well. Now that you're set up with a good back workout, no time for you to grow some nice little wings in that back. Okay, you guys have any questions? Throw them in the comments. I'll see you next video.
Stress don't faze me. I want a grill for the mouthpiece, so bright that it light on my face. Your shawty just call me a fave, cause she like my character trait.